हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ओम 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 नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। विशाल चांड शांति मंत्र Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We shall chant the mantras which we have seen. Om Ishavasya Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagata Tena Tyaktena Bhunjithaha Magradakasya Svidhanam Kurvanneveha Karmani Jijivishechatagam Samaha Evam Tvai Nanyate Toste Na Karma Lipyate Nare Asurya Namate Lokaha Andhena Tamasa Vrataha Tanste Pretya Bhigachanti Eke Chatmahano Janaha Anejadekam Manaso Javiyaha Nainadeva Apnuvan Purvamarshata Tadhavatonyanatte Titishthata Tasminnapo Matarishvadadhati Tadejati Tannai Taddure Tadvantike Tadantarasya Sarvasya Tadu Sarvasyasya Bahyataha Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmannevanupashyati Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam Tato na Vijugupsate Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmaeva Bhutvijanataha Tatra ko mohakka shokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. This is a very beautiful Upanishad from Shukla Yajurved, and it reveals the twofold path, the path of jnana and the path of karma. So in the first mantra itself, the path of jnana, that is nididhyasana or jnana nishtha, is revealed, that one should see this whole world as pervaded by Ishvara. Ishvara is our own self. Ishvara is that Brahma. So the entire world is Brahma, our self is Brahma. One has to constantly meditate on this fact. And those who have not gained that knowledge but want to pursue the spiritual path, for them there is this path of karma. So one has to perform one's duties, dedicating them to Ishvara. And those who remain ignorant, not following this path, they are killing themselves and will remain in samsara, going from one life form to another. Thereafter, the Upanishad reveals the nature of that Atma with respect to the Upadhis and by itself. So the nature of Atman never changes. It is one, but appears to be moving when the mind is moving, but it is faster than the mind, and it cannot be comprehended by the senses. And in the presence of Atma alone, all the devtas and all the natural forces, they are performing their respective karma. The Atma moves with respect to the Upadhis, but is free from all movement by itself. For an ignorant person, that Atma is very far away, but for a wise person, it is his own self, it is inside everything and outside everything also. One who comes to comprehend this Atma and gains abidance in this Atma, he sees the whole world as existing in his own self, and he sees his own self in everything. Thereafter, he doesn't hate anyone. One for whom this everything has become the self alone through this knowledge, then there remains no samsara. He becomes free of this samsara. Tatra ko mohakka shokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. One who sees this oneness, that everything is the self alone, that is my own self. One who sees this Atma and gains abidance in this Atma, then there remains no moha and then no shoka for this person. Means the person becomes free from this samsara. Samsarasya atyantam eva uchchedaha pradarshitaha bhavati. The samsara gets negated completely. Means there is no more bondage, no more taking birth, no more thinking that I am a limited being, no more fear, sorrow, pain, grief. That is what is called moksha. So he attains moksha. So there is no other way to attain moksha than to realize our own self. We have to recognize ourself. We have to come out of our delusion, confusion, ignorance and recognize ourselves. And as long as we don't recognize, we will continue to remain in this samsara, continue to experience the joys and sorrows everywhere. So what is that nature of that Atma by itself? In this previous mantras, that Atma was indicated along with its upadhis also. But Atma by itself is nirupadhik, free from all upadhis. Just as when we talk about the sky, we say the sky is blue. But when we say sky is blue, we are talking about sky along with its upadhi of color. But the sky itself is colorless. Similarly, the mantras talked about Atma with respect to the upadhis. But what is the nature of Atma by itself? That also has to be revealed. So that is being revealed now in this 8th mantra. Yoyam atitaihi mantraihi uktaha atma sasvena rupena kim lakshana iti aha ayam mantraha. So what is the nature of that Atma by itself is being revealed. Let us chant mantra number 8. Saparyagat shukram akayam avranam asna viragam shuddhamapapa viddham kavir manishi paribhuhu swayambhuhu yatha tathyatorthan vedadachashvatibhyah samabhyah. Once again. Saparyagat shukram akayam avranam asna viragam shuddhamapapa viddham kavir manishi paribhuhu swayambhuhu yatha tatyatorthan vedadha chashvatibhyah samabhyah. So sa atma, that Atma which we are talking about, that Atma is indicated in so many different words here. So it says in the beginning, ki sab paryagat, that Atma is pari-agat. Pari-agat means pari samantat agat, gatavan akashavad vyapi ityartha. That Atma is all pervading, like space. See, we experience Atma as I. And we experience that I in this body itself. We experience I through the mind, through the body. So what we are experiencing is Aupadhik Atma, Atma along with the Upadhis. But Atma is free from this body, is free from this mind. Therefore that Atma is all pervading. It is not confined to this body. Just like the space in a pot, it appears to be confined to the pot, but really speaking, that space is all pervading. In the same way, Atma is all pervading. It appears to be confined to this body. So one has to recognize that Atma. When our attention is on the body, we limit that Atma. When our attention is on the mind, on the senses, we limit that Atma. We think Atma is limited, but Atma is not limited. And this we experience whenever we go to sleep. So when we are in deep sleep, we become free. When we are in deep sleep, we become free of the gross body and the subtle body. So in that deep sleep, we are experiencing our own self as it is. And therefore we don't experience any limitation. If you think of your deep sleep, you don't think that you are limited to this body. Wherever one goes to sleep, one transcends the body, the Sthula Sharir. One transcends the Sukshma Sharir also. You don't feel confined to this body because we are not confined to this body. We are all pervading. That has to be understood and that has to be meditated upon constantly. We have to understand ourselves as all pervading and constantly meditate on ourselves as all pervading. So sab paryagat, that Atma is all pervading by itself. Then shukram. Shukram means shuddham. Shuddham means jyotishmat. Deeptiman ityartaha. It is luminous. Atma is not something dark, something inert. Though it is compared to this space, but Atma is not inert like this space. Space is inert. Atma is not inert. Atma is of the nature of light, means it is luminous. It is Jyotishman. See this world which we experience different matter. Whatever matter we experience, like this pot, we experience the existence of this pot. But that pot itself doesn't have any awareness. I know the pot. The pot doesn't know me. I am aware of this pot. The pot is not aware of me. So same thing is true for all the objects of this world. You are aware of these objects. The objects are not aware of you. We collect lot of wealth and all money, and we constantly count the money. I am aware of my wealth, but the wealth is not aware of me. It is inert. Not only the objects of this world they are inert, but even our body is inert because it is made up of the same objects. So body also doesn't have an ability to know. I know my body. Body doesn't know me. Body doesn't know me. Not only the body, but even our senses, they are also made up of the 5 elements. The senses are also inert by nature. By themselves they are inert. Not only the senses are inert, even the mind is inert because it is also made up of matter. So how come all this matter, like our mind and our senses, have the ability to know? They get the ability to know because of my presence, because of Atma. Just like when we look at the moon, it appears shining, but that light is not of the moon. It doesn't belong to the moon. It belongs to the sun. It borrows the light from the sun and appears luminous. But by itself, it doesn't have any light. But the sun has got light of his own. In the same way, Atma has a light of its own. Atma is of the nature of Chaitanya, Chit, Jnana Swarupa. But the Buddhi, Mana, Indriyas, they are Jada, inert. But they get the ability to know because of the presence of Atma. By itself, they are inert. Like that mantra says, Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. That Atma itself is not illumined by any light. The Indriyas, the Mana cannot illumine our self. But in the presence of the self, the senses, the mind gets the power to illumine. So that Atma is Jnana Swarupa. Therefore, when we are in deep sleep, see, again and again we have to take the experience of our deep sleep into account to understand this Atma. See, when we are in deep sleep, and when we wake up, we say, I was asleep. So how do you know that you were asleep? Because your senses were not functioning. Your mind was not functioning. How do you know that you were present in deep sleep? I know by myself. To know my own existence, I don't require the mind. I don't require the senses. That Atma is of the nature of what you call pure Chaitanya by itself. It doesn't require a light from somewhere else to know, illumine itself. It is self-luminous. Swayam Prabha. So therefore it is called Shuddham. See, each and every this word, they are indicators. But one has to keep contemplating and understanding this properly and constantly meditating on that Atma. That is our sadhana. To contemplate, understand and meditate on self. So, saparyagat shukram. Then Atma is akayam. Akayam means it is free from the body. Ashariraha. What body? Linga sharira varjita ityartaha. It is devoid of linga sharir. What is linga sharir? See, this sukshma sharir is also called linga sharir. What is sukshma sharir? The sharir which is made up of 19 parts. What are the 19 parts? Pancha Jnanendriya, 5 Jnanendriyas. Pancha Karmendriya, the 5 organs of action. Then Pancha Prana, Pranapan Vyan Udan Saman. And the 4 Antakarana Chatushtaya, Mana Buddhi Chitta Hankar. All this put together are called the Sukshma Sharir, and they are also called Linga Sharir. Why they are called Linga Sharir? Because it is a sign which indicates the presence of that Atma. Linga means sign. For example, if you see smoke rising at a distance, you see that there is lot of smoke at one particular place. Lot of smoke is rising there in that from that building. So you can only see the smoke. But after seeing that smoke, you infer that there must be fire. You don't see the fire, but from the smoke, you infer the fire. You come to know that there is fire, though you don't see the fire directly. Therefore, that smoke is called linga, a sign. In the same way, our Sukshma Sharir is called Linga Sharir, because from the Sukshma Sharir we come to understand that Atma is there. In Bhagavad Gita also 13th chapter, Bhagwan indicates that Atma, the Kshetrajna, as Sarvata Panipadam Tata Sarvatokshishiro Mukham, that it has got hands and legs everywhere, it has got eyes and ears everywhere. So from this, otherwise this body, mind, intellect, everything is inert, jada, but it appears to be alive, it appears to be functioning, it appears to be moving, it appears to be knowing. Though inert, it appears to be functioning. Therefore, from this you come to know that there must be a Chaitanya behind all this. There must be a Chetana behind all this. There must be that pure consciousness behind all this. So the functioning of our senses, our mind, are the signs of the presence of this Atma. Therefore it is also called Linga Sharir. But that Atma is devoid of Linga Sharir. Atma doesn't have a Linga Sharir. But from the Linga Sharir, we come to recognize that Atma. Like sometimes people buy a huge teddy bear. Huh? Huge teddy bear is there. They keep it in their drawing room or in their bedroom. They're very fond of that bear. Take it wherever they want. But then one day they see that bear is kept there on the bed, and when you look at it, suddenly you find it moving its hands, moving its head. So though you are so fond of that bear, you get so frightened, you run away from that bedroom. Then later on you come to know that your own husband or your own son or someone was hiding inside that stuffed bear and was trying to scare you. So when you see an inert object moving, you get scared because it can't move without a Chetan Tattva behind. Similarly, we see this our body moving, our senses functioning. It is inert. How does it move? Because of that Atma. Atma makes it move. Because of the presence of that Atma, it gets that ability to know, to move, to understand. Therefore, that Sukshma Sharir is called Linga Sharir. But Atma is devoid of this Linga Sharir. Linga Sharir is just like a cloud. Atma is like space beyond the clouds, beyond all dust, pure space. In the same way, Atma is beyond all this beyond this Linga Sharir, untouched by the Linga Sharir, untouched by that Sukshma Sharir. Then further, the mantra says, Avranam. Avranam, Atma is Avranam, means it doesn't get, it cannot be wounded. It cannot be cut. In Gita also we have seen कि Atma cannot be cut. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na shoshayati marutaha, na kledayati apaha. This Atma cannot be cut by any weapons. Atma cannot be dried by air. Atma cannot be made wet by water. Atma cannot be burnt by fire. Similarly, our body can get hurt. Our body can get wounded. Our limbs can get separated. But that Atma doesn't get hurt. Atma doesn't get wounded. Because Atma is not the gross body. So that is indicated by this term Avranam. See, the Upanishads have their own style of indicating. So by saying Avranam, the Upanishad is telling that Atma is devoid of the gross body. So when I say I am a man, I am a woman, I am identifying with this body and saying. When I say I am walking, I am growing old, I am falling sick, we are talking about the body. But when we use the term I for this body, we are identifying with this body. We are considering this body as Atma. Body is not Atma. Body is a temporary phenomena. In this eternity, this gross body is temporarily, it is there. Even if we live for 100 years or more than 100 years, it is a fraction of a second in eternity. But Atma is beyond time, always present. So Atma is not the stula sharir, avranam, asnaviragam. Asnaviram, it is devoid of all muscles and veins. See, this body is made up of so many different parts. Most amazing. Though this body is made up of matter, it is the most amazing phenomena. If we have to artificially make a body, it will be so difficult. And it is constantly, it is alive and it keeps on replenishing, keeps on curing itself, keeps on adjusting to the surrounding. Is the most fascinating expression, this gross physical body. Even with all this medical science and all, still we don't know how it functions completely. It is a mystery only. What we know about the body and how it functions is only a little portion of that mystery. Very mysterious. So the body has got muscles and got veins and arteries and so many organs, different layers in our skin also, epidermis, dermis and all those things, and bones and bone marrows and organs. All this belongs to the body. But Atma is different from this body. The body is not Atma. However much we may experience this body as I, but really speaking, the body is not I. And we experience the body as I in the waking state. As soon as we go to sleep, we stop experiencing the body as I. The very moment we go to sleep, our identification with this body gets dropped. But since the ignorance has not gone, when we wake up, again we identify with the body. So Atma is not the stula sharir. So avranam asnaviram ityabhyam stula sharir pratishedaha. So the stula sharir is negated. So sukshma sharir is negated and stula sharir is also negated as not the Atma. Then shuddham. Atma is shuddham. Shuddham means pure. Nirmalam. Extremely pure. Pure means what? Shankaracharya ji writes, कि अविद्या मलरहितम इति कारण शरीर प्रतिषेधः. Shuddham means free from the impurity of avidya. What is avidya? I don't know that I am this Atma. That is called avidya. But where is this avidya? It is not in Atma. Atma, this ignorance is not in the Atma. Then where is this ignorance? Ignorance is in the buddhi. There is the absence of this knowledge that I am that Atma, I am that Brahma. This knowledge is absent in the buddhi. See, our buddhi is a knowing equipment. It knows Hmm? And from we are identified with this buddhi, and we use this buddhi to know about so many things in this world. So we have lot of knowledge which we acquire, but lot of things we don't know also. Hmm? Like so many languages are there in this world. If you are asked that, do you know this language? You may say, no, I don't know. Do you know Spanish? Oh, I don't know. Do you know Mexican? Oh, I don't know. Do you know Tamil? Oh, I don't know. So what do you mean by don't know? Don't know means you refer to that buddhi, and that buddhi says that I don't have any data about this. So, therefore we say I don't know. Similarly, when you are told, you ask yourself, who am I? The buddhi doesn't give answer that I am Brahma. So that answer that I am Brahma is missing in that buddhi, in your buddhi. And the buddhi gives wrong answer that I am the body, I am man, I am a woman, I am born, I will die. These are wrong answers. They are not true. But the buddhi is giving it to us, and we are accepting it as though it is true. So all these wrong answers are called adhyas. And not knowing that I am Brahma is called avidya. And this avidya is a mala, is an impurity. It is an absence in the buddhi. So this avidya doesn't belong to Atma. Atma is not ignorant. Atma is nitya, shuddha, buddha, mukta, surupaha. It's always pure. But this anadi avidya is there, and due to this anadi avidya, one is identified with the sthula sharir and sukshma sharir. We consider ourselves as sthula sharir and sukshma sharir. So this anadi avidya is also called karana sharir, causal body, karana sharir. Karana sharir is this avidya only. Karan sharir doesn't mean that it is the upadan karan of sthula and sukshma sharir. Karan sharir doesn't mean that it is the material cause of the gross and the subtle body. Karan sharir means it is just a nimitta, just a reason for us to identify with this gross and subtle body. It is the reason because of which we are identified with our gross and subtle body. So Karan Sharir is not an object, it's an absence. Karan Sharir is not what you call Anandamay Kosh. Many times some people they consider Anandamay Kosh as Karan Sharir. Anandamay Kosh is not Karan Sharir. Anandamay Kosh is part of this our Antakarana only. All our samskars, our vasanas and all are also contained in our Sukshma Sharir. They are not part of Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir is an absence. Therefore, Karan Sharir doesn't contaminate that Atma. Karan Sharir doesn't contaminate Atma. So, Shuddham, Nirmalam, Avidyam, Avidyamala Rahitam iti Karan Sharira Pratishedaha. So by saying Shuddham, the mantra is negating this Karan Sharir, that Atma is not the Karan Sharir, is not avidya. It is called Sharir because it can be negated through knowledge. When we gain knowledge, then there no longer remains that Karan Sharir. Suppose I don't know Spanish language. So when I gain that knowledge, what happens to that ignorance of Spanish language? It just disappears. It gets filled up with that knowledge. Similarly, when we gain self-knowledge, this avidya gets dissolved. And when this avidya gets dissolved, all the effects of avidya also get dissolved. The effect of avidya is that I identify with the gross body and the subtle body and consider that as I. Gross body and subtle body are the effect of Prakriti. They are born from Prakriti. They are not born from ignorance. They are born from Prakriti. But due to ignorance, I identify with this gross and subtle bodies. All this we had seen in Bhagavad Gita also. So Shuddham Karana Sharira Pratishedaha. Atma is not Karana Sharir. Then Apapa Vidham. Atma is Apapa Vidham. Means what? Dharma Dharmadi Papa Varjitam. It is devoid of all papa, all sins. See, when one identifies with the body, when one has got this sense of doership, we identify with all the activities. And there are some activities which are called dharma, and there are those activities which are adharma. So one identifies with the results of this dharma and adharma as punya and papa. And due to this punya papa, we are born again and again in this world and in other worlds. Again and again we get different types of bodies. We never become free of this samsara. But that Atma by itself is untouched by all papa and also all punya also. This papa and punya are in the field of actions only. Atma is beyond all actions. Just like we see movement in space, all these movements are happening in space, but they are not the movements of space. The clouds are moving, space is not moving. The earth is moving, space is not moving. The galaxies are moving, space is not moving. In the same way, the body is moving, Atma is not moving. Mind is moving, Atma is not moving. Atma is not a doer of any actions. Therefore, Atma is not having any papa or punya. So, apapa vidham. Surrender to this Atma. In Gita also Bhagavan says, Ki sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarva papebhya moksheshyami ma shuchaha. You drop all identification and surrender to me, and you will become free of all this papa. Free of papa means you are already free of papa, but you think you are a sinner because of your identification with this sthula and sukshma sharir. So, apapa vidham. Then Atma is kavihi. Kavihi means krantadarsi. Sarvadrak. Na anyo ataha asti drashta. Means Atma is all-knowing, is of the nature of knowledge itself. Therefore, Atma is indicated as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, knowledge per se. The presence of that knowledge of that Atma in the buddhi, in the mind, makes the mind and buddhi get the ability to know. The senses also get the ability to know. And the senses, according to their differences, come to know the world differently. Like through the eyes we see the form and color. Through the ears we know the sound. So we know different things because of the difference in the senses. But that Atma is of the nature of knowledge itself, without any differentiation. Not knowledge of red, green, blue, sound, taste, touch, but knowledge per se. So therefore that wherever anyone knows anything, it is due to the Atma, and ultimately the Atma alone is the knower. Therefore it is all-knowing. It is called Sarvadrik. It's called Krantadarshi. Means Kavihi. That word Kavi indicates that Atma is Sarvadrik, Sarvajna, all-knowing. Then Manishi. Manishi means what? Manasa Ishita Sarvajna Ishvara Ityartaha is the ruler of the mind. Atma is the ruler, controller of the mind. Not only my mind, but everyone's mind. Therefore that Atma is the Ishvara, who is the controller of all the minds. So Manasaha Ishita Sarvajna Ishvara Ityartaha is the all-knowing Ishvara, who is the ruler of all the minds. See that Brahma alone, with its power of Maya, is called Ishvara. Ishvara is another name of Brahma. Brahma is Atma. Ishvara is another name of Atma. When we talk about Brahma along with its powers of Maya or Prakriti, is called Ishvara. So as Ishvara is Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, controller of the mind. So he is called Manishi. Then Paribhuhu. Paribhuhu Sarvesham Pari Upari Bhavati iti Paribhuhu. Though controller of the mind, still that Atma is beyond everything. Paribhuhu means beyond everything. Sarvesham Pari Upari Bhavati. Beyond everything, untouched by everything. See, just as when we see a cinema in a hall, there is a huge screen on which we see the cinema. In the cinema, we see the fire, we see water. We see that the whole place is burning in the cinema. But when you go and touch that screen, you will find the screen is totally untouched by that fire. Though with your eyes you are seeing the fire, but when you touch the screen, it is cold to touch. It is not at all touched by that fire. That means the screen is beyond the fire. The screen is not only beyond the fire, but beyond everything which is shown in the movie. In the same way, Atma is beyond this world. Therefore, it is not affected by the changes in the world. When the world moves, Atma is not moving. When things get destroyed, Atma is not getting destroyed. Therefore, it is called Paribhuhu. But at the same time, Atma is Swayambhuhu, self-existent. Swayameva bhavati iti. Atma is self-existent. Nothing has created that Atma. It is always there, self-existent. The world gets created, sustained, and gets dissolved. Atma is always there. Therefore, it is Swayambhu. Swayambhu also, another meaning is Esham upari bhavati yascha upari bhavati sa sarvaha swayameva bhavati iti Swayambhuhu. Atma was indicated Paribhuhu as beyond everything. But Atma is also everything. Means Atma is not only beyond this world, but Atma is also the world. The world is also Atma, and beyond the world is also Atma. Atma is also beyond the world. Therefore, it's called Esham upari bhavati. Yascha upari bhavati. That beyond which that Atma is, means this world, as well as beyond this world is that Atma. So it is everything and beyond everything also. Just like gold ornaments. The gold is not only the ornaments, but gold is beyond the ornaments also. Or like this clay and pot. The clay is not only the pot, but clay is beyond the pot. Beyond the pot means that when the pot breaks, the clay doesn't break. Clay transcends the pot, but also present in the pot. In the same way, Atma transcends this world and also present in this world. Again, Sa Nitya Mukta Ishvaraha, and that ever free and all knowing Ishvara alone has allotted the different work to the different beings of this world who take care of this world. The great Devtas, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and the various the Prajapatis, all of them are allotted their respective work. All the Devatas, they are given their respective work by this Atma alone. The whole world comes into existence, it is sustained, it gets dissolved. All the phenomena of the world happen systematically. Everything takes place very, very precisely, like a well functioning clock. See the mechanical clock, so many different parts are there, but as a whole it functions so beautifully, it shows the time accurately. Why? Because the clockmaker has put all the parts together and set them into motion. Similarly, the great clockmaker, the great Ishvara, has set this entire creation. It is like a clock. Everything functions precisely, definitely, properly, following all laws. You cannot break any laws. Human beings are given choice, but if they break laws, they are punished also. So breaking laws is called papa, and following the laws properly is called punya. And if we do papa, we are punished. And if we do punya, we are awarded. So everything functions so properly. So who is making them function? This Atma, means your own self. So that is what is indicated here. Ki yatha tathyatorthan vedadhat shashvatibhya samabhyah. That yatha tathya, according to each being's karma, phala, sadhana, the work is allotted. Everyone is allotted the work according to their own capacity, their own ability. Indra, Varuna, Kubera, sun, moon, stars, fire, earth, water, everything is given their respective work according to their ability. And they keep doing it. And all these phenomena, all these beings are eternal. They are there eternally. They are taking care of this whole. Different jivas, they come and they take the responsibility to run the show of this world. So who has given all this work? That Atma, Shashvatibhyas Samabhyah. So that is the most fascinating Atma. That is you. That is I. That is everyone. So recognize that Atma and become free. Okay? So more about this we will see in our next class. So tomorrow we will take a break, because tomorrow I have to go to get myself vaccinated. So tomorrow we will have a break, and day after tomorrow we will have that prayer and meditation. So prayer and meditation we will have, and in that we will chant Sundarkand on Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, we will continue with our Ishavasya Upanishad class. So tomorrow we will not have a class. We will have chutti, and we will meet again on Wednesday. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. And we shall meet again on Wednesday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Syawa Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.